Okay, I have something to tell you. Um, so we all know that I made a lemon cake that backfired a little bit. I bought some limes, some lemons, and I thought that well, I got up to make it, and I thought that you could do it how Brazilians do the orange cake, which is just throw the oranges in the blender and beat it all, and then throw in the dough, and that's your cake. Well, it turns out that I was wrong, and it was very bitter and sour, and it hurt a lot to eat. And I tried to eat because I covered it in condensed milk. I tried to eat it, but like I felt chunks of the green skin of the lime, and you couldn't even see it. It looked like a perfectly well executed cake, except like there were like secret poisons in it. It was the worst. I don't think I'll ever eat another lemon cake in my life, but um, I kept eating it and crying because of I wanted to suck off the condensed milk. But so the so I went to Priscilla's house and I took the cake because my trash is always full because my roommates cook a lot. So I took the pan and I emptied the rest of the cake I gave up in Priscilla's dumpster, and then found a new Louis Vuitton bag with a rip at the bottom. But that's another story. It does have a serial code. I haven't looked it up yet, but it does have one, and I should look that up. But so I tossed it in there, that cursed cake, and then I went home and I was like, how am I gonna get all this baked in cake out of this glass pan? And so I covered it in soap and water, hot water, and I thought I'm gonna let it soak, but I don't want my roommates to think, that like it's a big pan. I don't know. I just want it to be nice, and so I put it in my cupboard. Um, oh, actually, also they like leave their big pans because they're always cooking, so I probably just put it in there, whatever. I didn't want them to think it was gross to have like a pan full of water for 24 hours. So I put it in my cupboard. Let me just say that this is now June 2020. It is record highs. There's a place in the North Pole where people are going swimming because that's how hot the temperature is. They've never gone to the beach before. So um, a week later, it's the weekend again, and I had left, and I came back, and I opened my cupboard to cook some chicken, and then I realized that I left the pan in the cupboard, and so I was like, oh shit, and I like took it down. When I looked inside the pan, it's like a 2 inch deep pan. It was 2 inches of fungus. It was 2 inches of black mold. And like those ones where like it looks like little hairs. So it just looked like a pan full of Velcro. Um, it still was the consistency of water. We'll put an asterisk here. Um, but so I had to delicately like lower it. And I'm just standing there like, what did I do? And then I'm in the middle of cooking the chicken, so it's like on the fire. I put it on the counter, and then, of course, my roommates come out, and there's like one doing exercise next to the bathroom, there's another one whose room is in front of the kitchen, and he's just standing there looking at my chicken with the spinach in it. And then the girlfriend is like walking in and out of the kitchen to the front door. It's at night. Um, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. Um, I went back to my chicken to plate off for a second. One of my roommates decides that he's gonna go do some dishes, and he goes, and I'm like, please don't see the fungus. And he's standing right next to it, and I did like peek in and saw him do this. And hopefully it didn't register what he was looking at, because it did look like a pan full of black dust. But he probably knew what he was looking at, because it's a pan of food. Anyway, he didn't say anything, thank God, because he's a big mouth. So I was very scared. He's the only one who's like an audacious one. The other ones are very chill and like really too nice. And then I was like, fuck. And then I feel like I'm like, this is the last person I wanted to have this hang over my head, because he's also the piggy roommate, and his room smells like BO, and I want to puke every time I walk by it. And he leaves the floor sticky, whatever. But I was like, I need to get this thing out of here. I'm not pouring it down the drain, of course. Um, like the drains are already so slow, and it would just be like a sink full of fungus. And honestly, I don't even think I could do it without, like fainting. It was like, it's really bad. And also when I lowered it down very slowly, I like move it around. It was like anti-gravitational, because like bubbles would come out the sides and like just dance on top of the black epidermis and just kind of like float. It was like a bubble of water floating above. And then also the whole thing would move like jello. I have pictures that I'm gonna show. Um, I could, so I was texting Samantha because I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't move the pan, and I was doing at this point I was doing like a game of chess with the pan, where like someone would go in the kitchen, I would retreat holding the pan, turn, put it on a cupboard, put it on the sink when somebody leaves. But I can't leave the house because both doors had somebody on the way, and then they'd be like, why is George dumping in my house a pan full of black things? What is it? Outside in the parking lot or in the front door? And it was going to be there the next morning. So, um, and Samantha said to flush it. I couldn't go to the bathroom holding a pan of cake because the owner was doing like exercise right next to the bathroom. So I don't even know if this would flush, because I still don't know what the consistency was. I mean, I know it's a solid because it's a fungus. It's acting like a gel or jello, or like a solid. There's a name for that. Semi-permeable solid. I forgot. Um, so I just kept shuffling it around. I spilled some on my foot once because it's got like a delay. You move and then it spilled on my foot, and I was like, and then it also spilled, I think, on my hand. I like ran to the water to like wash it off, but it was like really delicate and like flying. Oh my god. And so black. Oh my god, black as night. Like it would absorb light. It was like it was crazy. You couldn't tell the like dimension of it. Um so um eventually there was nobody on the way to the back door, and I ran out holding this, well, not ran, like really like slowly, and then opened the door with one hand somehow, and then just kind of, as soon as the door was open, like just dump it outside. And to my surprise, the bottom, when the liquid or gel is gone, there's like black at the bottom of the pan as well. So this is the point where like I was trying really hard not to look at it and puke. So I like just put it like on the floor and just went back in. I'm like, I hope I'm the first person to see this tomorrow. But so that's my story with that. Let me show you now. The black bubble that broke away from the crust and just hovered at the top like lava lamp. Yeah, that's what it was like. I just kind of stood there. Okay, let me show you. This cake was cursed, clearly. So this is the pan after it's been emptied. As you can see, there's like a film of black, and then like there's white stuff peeling away as well. So it's kind of like a foamy white, also a white mold, a black mold and a white mold. And then this was it when I was like, when it was hovering and I couldn't leave. So I was like just shuffling it around the kitchen, hoping nobody would see it. And also like cooking chicken at the same time. So that's a whole pan of, you can see it moving. That's a whole pan. And it does have like a little bit of a semi-permeable crust. I wish I had a video of the like bubble that broke off and just like swam on top. And then this is it with the flash, which really, it just absorbed that light. And look how deep it is. And then I just, Samantha was like, I don't know how you're going to clean it. There's no cleaning. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is it for this. Because I will think about this and never eat again just looking at glass pans. But the fact, it looked like a giant tiramisu. But look at that fuzzy tiramisu crust of fungus. Look how the light, you can't tell if it's like deep or protruding. Is it hair? It looks like Velcro. The fungus was, I've never seen it like this. Look, oh boy. So that's my story. Hopefully that guy will keep to himself. I tossed it out. I don't do fungus, so if anything's dirty, I just like, the goal was to clean it. It was just baked in, but I guess the fermentation backfired. Anyway, the goal was to clean. I'm not keeping things that are dirty and fungal. As soon as I know that it is something like that, I cannot take part of it. It needs to be out of my life. So what happened the next day was I took the glass pan like this with the tiger print at the bottom of fungus and the like white stuff at the sides. I took it to my car and like this. Oh, and there were like ants. And I put it at the foot of the car, and then I drove to work and tossed it in like a dumpster or something. I didn't want it traced back to me just in case it was like the next coronavirus. The end. The next story is about a fetish.